Hello, doing a little video about the Aries new moon with the eclipse coming up, which is coming up on the 19th or the 20th, depending where you're at, of April. So I'm going to do a little card pull, and I did make some notes here about the eclipse. For myself, it's kind of a big deal, but I know that it's on a collective level, it's going to be quite big too. So just a couple of points that I wrote about it was, it is happening on the 29th degree of Aries, which is the final degree of a zodiac sign, which is considered a karmic point or a highly charged point. The anaretic degree, that's what they call it in astrology. And yeah, it's also square Pluto. And, Pluto has been doing his thing. The stuff that I've been looking into has been saying, because Pluto's like death and rebirth and transformation. And it's just saying that it's looking more like a rebirth energy. This eclipse can bring into your world like never imagined possibilities, awakenings, transformation, moving up into becoming that version of our higher selves. It's a portal. It's a portal, and it's going to activate a new reality, and doors will be opening. New opportunities will arise. New pathways will become lit up. As it's happening too, of course, our sensitivities, our creativity, our intuition, all that stuff's going to be heightened as well. It's kind of interesting what I'm kind of doing right now too, like going and something, finally, I think with the first new moon eclipse, which was in March, or the first new moon, sorry, that was in March, the one that was at 0 degrees of Aries, that one started the process of me finally getting this art studio done, and I'm in the process of doing that right now. And it's something that I've been trying to do or planning on doing, or it's been in the ethers, since I moved here. And it's always been a little dream in my head. So anyway, it's interesting that now that's happening. And yeah, it just shows that, this is where we can use these energies, use them for our benefit, and to become the leader of our lives, get into a leadership role. And I'm also working on that kind of stuff too. I'm kind of thinking about, that's where I've always sort of hid from, was putting myself out there and, possibly putting together these a couple workshops. And I've really been diving into astrology, and I've really been like, this is what happens. This is what happens when you get into something, and it's like, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like, it's all lots of information. Yeah. And so Aries is just asking for confidence, courage, passion, the right balance of leadership. And it's depending on your birth chart, it's interesting to sort of look at where things land and where the transits, and how astrology is basically, as when you're talking about co-creating with the universe. This is what I believe for myself, and what resonates for me with astrology is that is what I'm doing. If I'm reading my birth chart and I'm looking at the planets, which each have their own archetypes, and each house has their own archetypes, and depending on the exact time, that's why the time of birth is so important with a birth chart. When you're born, and what the skies are like, and like the energies of all that stuff is like imprinted in your soul's path in this lifetime. It blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. And I know that, I talk to people about it, and I'm so interested in it, and then I can see people just like going zzz, and they're like, what in the hell are you talking about? And it is almost like a different language. And I don't even know that much about it, but I just know it feels right. It just feels like it's funny how you can say oh, this makes sense, but I can't articulate it. But I know it. There's a deep knowing. Yeah, so yeah, anyway, that's that. That's what I've been sort of going through. So it is kind of an auspicious time, it feels like. I mean, yeah, there's obviously, there's going to be some aspects in my chart that are a little wild. But that's life, you know. That's the way it goes. But you know, at least if you got the heads up, you know, you get the heads up, get a little head start on certain things. And just know that, like, when you're feeling a bit wonky, that it's like you can go, okay, wait a minute, these energies are coming through, like, let me take a step back and take a deep breath and just recognize, like, hey, this is happening up in the skies, and this could be the reason why I'm blah blah blah, you know, whatever it is for you. And I don't know, that always seems to help me. And yeah, there was something else I was gonna say here. I've got so many notes. But yeah, I've kind of gotten right into archetypes as well. And archetypes is an interesting concept as well. How an archetype is like a pattern that we all, as human beings, as a species, will actually experience. That's an archetype. So, you know, they have all the different, depending on what you're looking at. I mean, in astrology, has each house has, you know, the planet has its archetype, then its house has its set of traits, or, you know, that the classic Taurus, or the classic Virgo, or the whatever, that archetypal system. I find that really interesting. And then you can also have, like, you know, the archetype of the maiden, the mother, the crone, but, you know, of course there's the temptress and the enchantress, the wild woman, which is sort of, you know, resurfacing, and it's been activated in me. And that's a whole other thing, you know, but it's all tied. And like the tarot, all tied in. It all ties into the zodiac, the astrology. Like each card has its tie to the astrological signs, and like that. So that turns into this whole other thing where, you know, you can go down that rabbit hole. And but it's interesting to think, like, if you do like a tarot card reading and you have, you know, like the Hierophant comes out, which is, that's the card for Taurus. And, you know, you can say you're doing a reading and the Empress comes out, and then there's Venus, and then, like, you know, the different tarot card, it helps you kind of like, oh, maybe this person, like, you know, this water sign, the Scorpio, this Libra, this Virgo, whatever, if it comes up in the chart, it could be like, oh, it could have something to do with this person. It can help you kind of narrow down possibly what it's talking about. I always find that kind of wild as well. But yeah, I've been getting into the archetypes, like the Carl Jung. It's crazy. Yeah. And but it's so interesting. I just find, like, I could just, you know, like I can get into it and it'll just be like, boom. And then look and be like, what the hell, this many block of hours is gone. Like, I'm just like, zzz. But anyway, I just have this, like, interesting thing about archetypes as well. Archetypes are a way of talking about similarities between people by taking the complexity of the human individuality and breaking it down into patterns that you can quickly identify with. Like this example of Merlin and Gandalf are from the stories told hundreds of years apart, but are so similar, they both would be considered to participate in the wizard archetype. Like, that's just a little example of something that I was reading. I thought that was interesting. And your birth chart is a collection of archetypes. The planets are your psyche, divided up into 10 parts. Each part is assigned an archetype that corresponds to the sign of that planet. So knowing your archetypes in a chart can help you understand yourself better. the other thing about astrology is that knowing your archetypes in your chart can help you understand yourself better, but planets don't really make sense without understanding their context within signs and houses, and relationships between planets can influence the way planets express themselves as well. Being that there's 10 planets, 12 signs, 12 houses, 4 angles, and Chiron, asteroids, and fixed stars. Anyway, but yeah, so that just that there's, you know, you really have to kind of like, it all goes together. And it all is about how a planet with its certain traits and its archetypes or whatever, and how it relates to the other planets that come into your birth chart, and they transition, and how when they meet up, or they're opposing each other, or if they're in a square, or if they're in a trine or a sextile, which is a lovely, good feeling, sort of like trines and sextiles are like good vibes and sort of like the frequency of like ease, but also not as motivating as possibly a little bit, you know, something in a square or an opposition. There's a little bit more tension, a little bit more movement, more shifting energy. But yeah, I mean, it's all very interesting. And I think it's so cool. Like an astrologer can sit down, look at your birth chart and be like, okay, you're this, this, and this. And you're like, whoa. And then it's like, and this is going to happen here. And this is going to happen here. And, you know, this is how you're going to do this. And, you know, your north node's in Capricorn and your south node is in Cancer. So you've come into this lifetime with Cancer in your 4th house. And that is the house of, you know, nurturing the mother, you know, whatever all the other archetypal sort of traits of that 4th house, you know, which is home, roots, family, self-care, emotions, foundations, mother, children, women, femininity, rules of the foundation of all things, home, privacy, security, your parents, especially your mother, children, your own mothering abilities, nurturing, and TLC. Now that's what I came into this world with. I feel like, yes, that is my comfort zone. So then with my 10th house being, that's where my north node is. So that's Capricorn. So Capricorn is, you know, the 10th house in my chart. Typically the 10th house is Capricorn traditionally, but it can be whatever, depending on when you're born. It all changes, whatever houses land where in your birth chart. But the 10th house is of career, long-term goals, structural, it's structural, it's status, reputation, public image, masculinity, men, father, experts, fame, very top of the chart. It is usually very top of the chart, most public part of the chart. It governs structure, corporations, tradition, public image, fame, honors, achievements, awards, boundaries, rules. You know, so that's where I think the blend of having like the home and having a business in that I run out of my home, I can still be in leadership. Well, that's also Aries as well. But like when it comes to this sort of like, when I look at Capricorn and North Node being in the 10th house and Capricorn, it's usually, it's about CEOs of like big corporations. And it's like, not this camper, you know, not my bag. But when I lean into that a little bit, not being a CEO of a corporation, but like being a CEO of my own business, being like kind of the leader of my own business. And when I lean into that, things do change and things open up. And I, you know, like it's not my comfort zone, but it's my North Star. It's where my soul is supposed to be heading in this lifetime. So when I embrace it and move into that energy, it tends to shift things. And so, you know, I kind of know it, but it's still, it's a little scary at times. And I kind of lean back into old patterns of thinking. And, you know, and now with this Aries new moon eclipse, I think that's what's happening, is some things are being activated. And, you know, things that have happened before, like they're saying that the last, or things that I've been reading, I don't know who they are, but things that I've been looking into or whatever, they're saying that this stuff might come up from like I think it was October 2013 to 2015. Can't remember what month it was. I have it written down, but I can't find it. But whatever was happening in that 2 year, the last Aries eclipse, in that 2 years, whatever was happening there, some of those themes can come back. So depending on what was going on in your life at that time, those themes can come back, and you could actually be like, revisit the themes. Not like the same thing's going to happen again, but like you can revisit those themes or those lessons that were brought to you that you might have not completely, you know, signed off on and went, oh, okay, I learned that lesson, I'm moving up a level. Or it can be the case that it'd be like now with this new moon energy and this eclipse, it's going to be you're going to be like, oh, okay, I have learned that lesson finally, and I am moving up. So that can happen as well. But yeah, you can tell it gets me a little bit excited, and I can really talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. So I've been putting things together for like a little beginners type, like for myself. I find that whatever the research that I was doing is kind of like helping me figure it out. So I was going to maybe put it together and maybe offer some type of like beginners, you know, like beginners, like beginner level, not astrologer level at all, but just for like a person like myself who's like interested in it, but sort of like has questions, and just sort of like the basic beginning, you know, like the basics. But anyway, that's what I was diving into. So yeah, enough about that, right? I need an astrologer, like, you know, maybe that's what I should do. Just get an astrologer to look at my chart and have me kind of like the questions, some of the questions that I do have that I haven't really been able to find the answers to. Yeah, anyway, I'm thinking out loud. So enough about that, but I'm just going to pull a little moon oracle, because these say what the moon, we obviously know that there's an eclipse and there's a new moon in Aries at 29 degrees of Aries. But like these cards, they oh, those ones fell. They fell. The first one is full moon in Pisces. It says balance, spirituality, and practicality. So it's like, get your head out of the clouds, Lisa, and get real. No, I'm just kidding. And this was meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. Meditate and contemplate. Well, I know I can do that. For sure. The Angel Oracle by Kyle Gray, the angel guy. I do like this deck as well. Yeah, so that is that, and I've been working on my studio, and it's getting there, and I obviously am putting together a little compilation video of the progress. I've already put one part out, so it's on there on my channel if you want to watch it. And yeah. Oh, there it is. Take a step back. Okay, angels, take a step back. Interesting. And I'm going to do from the light seers as well. Well, look at that. We got the moon. And we have the sun. Wow. Incredible. Yeah, incredible. Okay, well, thank you very much. The moon and the sun. What can you say about that? So, read the two. Full moon in Pisces. Full moon in Pisces. Have you been so head in the clouds that you've lost touch with reality? Anyway. If so, take this card as a sign that you need to pay attention and make a concerted effort to move towards your goals. The more practical steps you can take, the better. It's time to find an inner balance between your responsibilities and your dreams. Meditate on your question, and the solutions to your issue may now come through very clearly. If you're in a tricky situation because you've been acting the martyr, this card will be a message from the cosmos to drop the act for everyone else's sake. Attune to the moon. Meditate every day and see what comes to you. Answers will come. Additional meanings for this card. You're in a super romantic but not super realistic state. Follow your intuition. It won't let you down. At the worst, this card can be a herald that the end of a dream can herald the end of a dream. The person you're inquiring about is a soulmate. Avoid substance abuse. The teaching. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so the full moon in Pisces symbolically marks endings. When the moon is full in Pisces, or whenever you pull this card, it's a time to dive deep into your emotions. Practicality is at odds with the numinous Piscean energies that have no borders, so feel your way now. Psychic ability is heightened when the moon is full in Pisces, and soulmates now connect. It's also a time to send out your dreams to the universe, releasing your fears. So that's that. So the new moon in Pisces speaks of dreams, romance, soulmates, and poetry. It suggests there's a new start coming your way that's connected to a matter that leaves you feeling somewhere in between having your head in the clouds and being in a totally altered state. There could be a confusion and a disappointment if that's what you've had before and that's what you're expecting. However, if you're onto a good thing, then wish hard, because the words of your soul and your heart could help bring about the manifestation of your dreams. It all sounds a little wet and watery, then that's Pisces for you. This is the last sign of the zodiac, and the new moon in Pisces card suggests a last-ditch chance to make your dreams come true. Additional meanings for this card. Face your fears. They may be holding you back. This situation is being healed. It is time to surrender to the divine. Chant Om Namo Narayani. I have trouble with that. It's time to surrender to the divine and avoid being deceptive or willingly deceived. And I believe Om Namo Narayani just basically translates into I surrender to the divine. So the teaching is Pisces is the sign of reveries and mysteries, or depths of emotion, idealism, hopeless romantics. It is the sign of water and the unconscious. Its energy is deep, like the watery depths. The new moon in Pisces indicates a time to listen to your feelings and allow your emotions free reign. Whatever you're feeling as you pull this card, it's more likely than the truth. It's more likely than the truth, unless you've been kidding yourself somehow, and only you know if that's the case or not. The angels are guiding you to take a step back and reflect before proceeding further. There is an excitable and action-oriented energy around you at this time, but you are being encouraged to review the situation before making any moves. Remember that you are a sensitive being, and should the correct steps and intentions not be lined up, you could open yourself up to harsh energies or a situation that could be limiting your growth. In order to have the best experience and a positive outcome, take some time now to meditate on your actions, intentions, visions, and goals. Call in your angels and invite them to guide you to make decisions that will be supportive of your expansion and highest good. The extended message: when we try to rush ahead and force something to happen, we can often miss signals, signs, and messages that are encouraging us to change course. If you have a big decision to make now, or are in the midst of moving a project forward, your angels are encouraging to take a step back and breathe. Good advice. What is for you won't go by you. Your angels are encouraging you to step into the energy of trust. When you do so, you will draw universal energy and support to you. If you have concerns about another person or a relationship, this card is guiding you to draw back and respect the space of others. Let this be a time of self-care and self-awareness. And when you step back, you let the universe step in. I like that. I like that a lot. So the moon fell out and the sun. The moon is about what you don't see, right? What's hiding underneath. The moon is illusions, hidden truths, the unknown, trusting your intuition, facing your fears, the watery nature of the unconscious mind, mystery, symbolism and metaphor, perception, uncertainty, and dreams. I've been dreaming like crazy, by the way, too. Just crazy, like realistic, vivid, crazy dreams. So when we're faced with uncertainty and illusion, it can feel like we are drowning. Trust that you will be okay, even if you can't seem to distinguish up from down. When you stop struggling to see that which you simply cannot see because it remains obscured behind shadows of the moonlight, you will experience a deep release that will allow you to float to the surface of your truth. The moon card asks you to go within, find comfort in the darkness, and to calmly listen to the whispers of your own intuition. There is divinity and magic here. When you fall into the moon's still waters, your inner wisdom will embrace you and push you toward the light. She will reinvigorate your creativity and resurrect your spark as long as you go beyond your own fears and find her. Dive into her healing embrace, breathe past insecurities, and let her dimly lit magic guide you home. Oh, beautiful. I am safe. I reach new levels of unconscious knowing as I surrender to the will of the universe. Yeah, the moon. And the sun. Joy, inspiration, inspirational success, abundance, fulfillment. Look at that card. Exuberant creativity, positivity, love, manifesting dream, inner beauty. It's a yes card. This is your yes card. The sun breathes life into everything he touches. Radiating brightly, he creates a path of love and harmonic abundance. This is a card of joyful celebration and a vibrant sign of positivity and success. Expect to find bliss and be ready to take inspired action based on radical positivity and generosity. Allow others to bask in the warm glow of your beaming heart and your inspired mind. People will feel drawn to you when the sun card arrives. Hello, charisma. Live it up. This card is a reassuring sign that things are unfolding beautifully. You are perfect, whole, and loved by the cosmos. You are perfect, whole, and loved by the cosmos. And it may be time to deal with any feelings of inadequacy or not enoughness. That old chestnut. In order to find your shiny confidence, the sun is on its way to illuminate the corners of your heart and to set your world ablaze with opportunity and inspiration. I am whole. I am more than enough. I shine like the sun when I am happy. I am whole. I am more than enough. I shine like the sun when I'm happy. So there you go. Yeah. So it's interesting, right? It's like moon, sun, ding, ding, she, he, feminine, masculine, right? This, same. Like full moon, new moon, Pisces. It's just an interesting thing. And then it's like, take a step back and look at that. Take a step back and look at that, you know, and recognize the duality of everything, every little thing, every living thing. Yeah, it's a gooder. It's super long, but you know, it's blah, 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 and blue, 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 but it's all good. Anyway, I hope this finds you well. That was my little new moon solar eclipse in Aries reading, card reading, and ramble about astrology and how I feel about it. And hopefully, you know, whatever's happening for you in these times, just remember that there are opportunities there, and there's always choice, and there's always free will, no matter what. And just keep shining your light bright, and sending all that beautiful love and light out into the world. And I'll be doing the same. And I will be looking forward to the next time. And now I got to go get painting. So toodaloo, and we will see you soon. Bye.